two of the different pages in our application were marked as dynamic just because they've got that wildcard part of the URL, specifically the ID. Because they are considered to be dynamic, by default, they will not be cached by Next at build time. This is maybe not the best thing in the world because, well, we lose out on the benefit of caching entirely. These snippets/ID pages and the edit pages are going to end up being just a little bit slower to load up because of that. So I'm going to take a look and I'm going to show you how we can still enable caching for these things by implementing a function in our different page files called GenerateStaticParams. I'm going to first show you exactly how it works with the diagram, and then we'll write out some code. Okay, so we've looked at a diagram like this before, but I've changed a couple of things on it. First, whenever we run the command npm run build, once again, Next is going to find all the different routes in our application. And one it's going to find is snippets/wildcard ID. Because it's got that little dynamic portion right there, Next is going to mark this route as dynamic. But we can still get some caching enabled for this page by implementing a function called GenerateStaticParams. This is going to be a function that we export from the page file. Inside of this function, we're going to write out some code that's going to reach into our database and get all of the current snippets that exist inside there. Then from the function, we're going to return an array of objects that each have an ID that is going to be the ID of each of these snippets in our database. So why is that? Well, take a look at something here. Each of these has a key of ID. And our route over here also has a route of ID. So this array of objects is going to be used to turn this path right here into a collection of different URLs, 1, 2, and 3. Once these different URLs have been generated, Next is then going to try to pre-render these different routes. So we can kind of imagine that Next is going to try to show our snippet show page and feed in a param for each of these with an ID of 1, and then 2, and 3. Each of these are going to render at build time. They're going to reach into the database, get those snippets, pull them out, render the page, and then Next is going to cache the result. Again, this all happens at build time. So we are still able to cache some of these different pages, even if they are initially thought to be dynamic. All right, so that's the theory. Let's try putting this into practice in just a moment.